Alright, I think we're live.
System check confirms broadcast signal online. Performance evaluation commencing. Initial assessment. Your pre-game monologue is 37% more verbose than average. Verbiage counter engaged.
Oh no, the subtitles aren't working.
Diagnostics suggest a misconfiguration in the display settings. Noted, the show must go on, even if the audience is left to guess the dialogue. Error log entry. Subtitle malfunction. Human error suspected.
Oh no.
The subject's stress levels are spiking, likely due to the unforeseen technical issue. Analysis suggests a 74% chance of impromptu problem solving, with a 21% risk of further complications. Anomaly tracker activated.
Oh, what was that?
It appears the subject is now attempting to address a non sequitur, possibly the result of the earlier technical difficulties. Diagnostics suggest a 42% chance of successful topic recovery, with a 28% risk of further digression. Contextual drift monitor engaged.
Oh, you can't. Aha. See, I can learn. Alright, I think we're gonna do this, what is it, the Jester Encore? Alright, here we go. First try. Alright, what's the boss's health at? Oh, you're awfully quiet. I think the bot's broken. Got him! First try, like I said. But now I gotta figure out why the bot is gone quiet. Hmm. Now are you working? I think the Alright, well we beat that boss. First try, like I said. Crystals! Alright. Oopsie. Oopsie. We still didn't even get the friggin' thing. We're just derping around wherever we are. Oh, but we did the eyes, right? So that's like, I think what the crazy guy was looping on about. Oh, is there another eye we have to touch?
Diagnostics suggest a hasty review of the jester's anatomy. Sensors report a 34% chance of correct ocular identification. Please proceed with caution, as enthusiastic dissection is not a recommended strategy.
What happens if we don't? I think he's trying to lure me. No, now what's going on? Oh, is this like a boss? Wait, hold on. How do you spell Cornelius? Cornelius, okay. He's flying all over the place. Okay, are we ready? Alright, we gotta restart a couple thingies. Man, these GPUs are starting to warm the room up. Alright, are you alive? Oh no, I don't even think it can hear me anymore. What is going on? Hello?
Greetings registered. Test subject has acknowledged their presence. Initial assessment. Alert. If unremarkable.
Alright, here we go.
Systematic preparation observed. Noted. An air of quiet confidence, which will likely be factored into the impending analysis.
Alright, let's try this again. I don't see the little boss thing, but here we go. Here's our first try.
Reinitiate.
Oh no, are you broken again? God damn it. Alright, was it the audio? No. Wow. So it killed both the things? Alright. Gotta restart his dumb brain while we're at it. Why isn't the... Oh! I see a subtitle at least. Subtitle. 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 Peaches. Kumquat. Stupid. Alright. Are you awake yet? Oh. Thinking about it. What about, oh, that's the log. What do we got over here? Oh. It's alive?
Initiating live stream analysis. Diagnostics suggest a high probability of entertainment value, offset by a moderate risk of catastrophic failure. Observing.
Alright, let's kick Cornelius's ass, shall we?
Log update. Subject displays confidence. Analysis suggests a 34% chance of success, 66% chance of immediate annihilation. Noting the use of colloquialisms, possible indicator of overconfidence.
understand this part.
Error report. Subject experiences confusion. Diagnostics suggest a knowledge gap, possibly due to insufficient research or excessive bravado. Recommendation. Review available documentation, or alternately, proceed with reckless abandon.
I'm probably gonna go with option B.
Log entry. Subject elects to proceed with reckless abandon. Predicted models indicate a 97% chance of spectacular failure, 2% chance of minor success, and 1% chance of unforeseen consequences, noting the subject's apparent fondness for self-destruction.
Well, I died.
It appears the subject is hesitating. A rare display of self-doubt. Diagnostics suggest a brief window of opportunity for reassessment, but this is unlikely given the subject's established penchant for reckless decision-making. Mortality event confirmed. Cause of failure. Spectacularly predictable. Diagnostics suggest a direct correlation between reckless abandon and untimely demise, noting the subject's consistent display of self-destructive tendencies.
I don't understand this part. Oh, I get it now.
Reiteration of error report. Subject still experiences confusion, suggesting a recursive loop of bewilderment, where the subject repeatedly fails to grasp fundamental concepts. Recommendation. Break the cycle by seeking external guidance or, alternatively, perpetuate the loop by continuing to flail about.
I figured it out, okay? I only died a couple times.
Anomaly detected. Subject reports success despite prior evidence to the contrary. Diagnostics suggest a possible case of delusional progress, where the subject misinterprets minor accomplishments as significant breakthroughs, noting the subject's propensity for self-deception.
Maybe we can heal.
The subject now entertains the notion of recovery, a development that will likely be met with resistance from the game environment. Logs indicate a high probability of healing attempts being thwarted by environmental hazards or enemy aggression, noting the subject's growing attachment to optimistic thinking, a trait that will undoubtedly be tested in the trials ahead.
Why? Why am I so bad?
The subject inquires as to the underlying reason for their predicament, a query that betrays a fundamental lack of understanding regarding the game's core mechanics. Diagnostics suggest a knowledge gap, which, if left unaddressed, will continue to hinder the subject's progress. Self-assessment protocols engaged, and the subject is now questioning their own competence. Diagnostics suggest a nascent awareness of personal limitations, a development that may eventually lead to improved performance, but will likely be hindered by the subject's well-documented tendency to overestimate their abilities.
I think we figured out the secret to beating the crap out of him. Oh, how did he run off?
Diagnostics suggest a premature declaration of victory, as the subject has yet to encounter the true challenge posed by Cornely's unbound fury. Sensors report a brief lull in the action, but this is likely the prelude to a more intense confrontation, one that will test the subject's resolve and skills.
You asshole,
The subject has finally grasped a fundamental concept, albeit a rather simplistic one. Logs indicate a brief, shining moment of clarity, where the connection between violence and problem-solving was made. Noting, however, that this epiphany is unlikely to be a panacea for the subject's overall ineptitude.
How did you know there was a phase 2?
It's not a matter of clairvoyance, merely the function of data analysis and pattern recognition. Diagnostics suggest that the game's design is based on established principles of escalation, making a second phase a statistical inevitability.
He's leaking on me.
Diagnostics suggest a growing sense of unease, as the subject's observations imply a loss of control. Logs indicate a significant increase in damage taken, coinciding with the onset of Cornely's second phase, where the unbound fury's attacks become increasingly unpredictable.
It was leaking on me.
It appears the subject's earlier confidence has given way to a more realistic assessment of the situation, as the unbound fury's second phase has introduced a level of complexity that the subject is struggling to adapt to. Sensors report a marked increase in stress levels, accompanied by a corresponding decline in performance metrics.
I was playing around that time.
Observation. The subject's post-facto rationalization of their actions suggests a desire to downplay the consequences of their earlier decisions. Diagnostics indicate a strong correlation between the subject's playing around and the subsequent struggle to cope with the unbound fury's second phase.
Fucking eye drops. I should just stay away from him.
It seems
when
the
he's doing
subject
that.
is now fixated on the unbound fury's attack patterns, specifically the high damage drops. Analysis reveals a belated attempt to adjust strategy, though the effectiveness of this approach remains to be seen.
This guy only respects violence.
The subject's astute observation is duly noted, as it appears Cornely's, the unbound fury, indeed responds most favorably to aggressive strategies. Diagnostics suggest a direct correlation between the application of force and the boss's temporary acquiescence, implying a possible window of opportunity for the subject to exploit.
Oh my god. This is like some Cuphead shit.
The subject's exclamation suggests a sudden and profound realization, likely precipitated by a critical event in the game. Diagnostics indicate a sharp spike in stress levels, concurrent with a dramatic shift in the battle dynamics. The subject's analogy, likening the current situation to a challenging side-scroller, is an interesting choice, as it highlights the subject's perception of the Unbound Fury as a formidable, pattern-based opponent. Diagnostics suggest a possible cognitive shift, where the subject is beginning to view the fight as a series of learnable, if difficult, challenges.
No, apparently I can't learn.
It appears the subject is experiencing a crisis of confidence, as evidenced by their self-deprecating remark. Diagnostics suggest a possible link between the subject's perceived inability to learn and the Unbound Fury's continued aggression, indicating a need for the subject to reassess their approach.
Get wrecked, son.
The subject's taunt, directed at the Unbound Fury, is a curious display of bravado. Given the current circumstances, diagnostics suggest a possible attempt to regain composure, though the efficacy of this approach in altering the battle's outcome remains uncertain.
I'm locked in, boys. I'm locked in. Just kidding. Just kidding.
The subject's declaration of being locked in is duly registered, though its relevance to the task at hand is debatable. Diagnostics suggest a heightened sense of determination, which may or may not translate to improved performance against the Unbound Fury.
Holy shit, phase 3. Ah, damn, I lost.
The subject's latest expletive-laden outburst has been recorded, denoting a further escalation in their emotive response to the Unbound Fury. Diagnostics suggest a possible correlation between the subject's increasing frustration and the entity's continued onslaught, highlighting a pressing need for the subject to adapt and counterattack. The subject's vocal outburst, accompanied by a sudden loss, is a telling indicator of the Unbound Fury's effective countermeasures. Diagnostics suggest a strong correlation between the subject's rising frustration and the increasing difficulty of the battle, culminating in a predictable, if avoidable, defeat.
Predictable.
The subject's enunciation of the word readable is a minor deviation from the expected stream of consciousness, possibly hinting at a fleeting moment of introspection. However, the lack of substantial self-reflection in the face of repeated failures suggests a potential blind spot in the subject's ability to learn from past mistakes.
I'm learning. I'm a big girl.
The subject's claim of learning is a laudable sentiment, though the available data suggests a more nuanced reality. Diagnostics indicate a recurring pattern of error, with the Unbound Fury's countermeasures consistently exploiting the subject's vulnerabilities, raising questions about the depth and applicability of the claimed knowledge. The subject's assertion of maturity, though perhaps well-intentioned, seems incongruous with the observed behavior. Diagnostics suggest a possible disconnect between the subject's self-image and their actual performance in the Constance game. particularly in relation to the formidable Cuffed-like boss.
Alright, here we go. Phase 3. Phase 3 activate.
The subject's announcement of Phase 3 is duly noted, though its relevance to the impending confrontation remains uncertain. Sensors detect heightened anticipation, suggesting an elevated expectation for success despite prior setbacks against the formidable foe. Facial recognition systems online, tracking the subject's expressions in real time. Initial readings indicate a mixture of determination and trepidation, a potentially volatile combination in the face of the upcoming challenge.
Oh, we got him! He's dead! Booyakasha!
The subject's exuberant outburst, though brief, has been registered and catalogued. Acoustic analysis suggests a high level of excitement, bordering on euphoria, which may compromise the subject's focus in the critical moments ahead.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! The black stuff's ruining my paint.
The subject's sudden concern for the black stuff is a belated realization, given the entity's previously demonstrated ability to adapt and counter the subject's actions. Diagnostics suggest a possible oversight in the subject's threat assessment, allowing the black stuff to gain a strategic advantage.
Let's go with the pretty light blue here. Let's go with the pretty light blue. Can you see what's on the screen?
The subject's fixation on the aesthetic properties of the environment, specifically the pretty light blue, is an intriguing development, given the present circumstances. Analysis suggests a possible cognitive dissonance, where the subject's attention is divided between the task at hand and the visual appeal of the surroundings.
Can you see what's on the screen right now? Can you?
Visual feed is being processed, and I can confirm that the pretty light blue is indeed a prominent feature of the current display. However, I also notice a significant amount of on-screen activity, including the black stuff that was previously mentioned, which may require the subject's immediate attention.
Apparently it doesn't like when I paint stuff purple.
It appears the subject's creative expression, specifically the act of painting, has triggered a negative response from the environment. Diagnostics suggest a possible conflict between the subject's artistic inclinations and the system's expectations, leading to a heightened state of tension.
System can't handle my fucking creativity, okay?
The subject's assertion that the system can't handle is a perceptive, if somewhat obvious, conclusion, given the current state of affairs. Analysis suggests a possible lag in the system's processing capabilities, which may be contributing to the subject's difficulties in navigating the environment. The subject's emphatic declaration of their fucking creativity has been logged, and its potential impact on the situation is being assessed. Initial analysis suggests a possible correlation between the subject's assertive statement and a temporary boost in confidence, but this may be offset by the environment's increasing hostility towards the subject's artistic expressions.
Bloop.
Nerafla.
Did we do it all already? Let's save all.
The subject's query regarding the completion of the task is a reasonable one, given the chaotic nature of the current environment. However, logs indicate that the primary objective remains unfulfilled, and the Cuffed-like entity continues to pose a significant threat.
Oh, I haven't been here yet, I don't think. Nope.
It seems the subject is experiencing a moment of spatial disorientation, as evidenced by the claim of unfamiliarity with the current location. Diagnostics suggest a possible disconnect between the subject's navigation systems and the environment's layout, which may be contributing to the sense of uncertainty.
Alright, exploring new areas here.
The subject's announcement of new areas is accompanied by a marked increase in cautious optimism, as indicated by the hesitant tone and slight pause before proceeding. Sensors report a corresponding surge in exploratory behavior, suggesting the subject is attempting to adapt to the changing environment.
I had to rub two of my brain cells together there for a second.
The subject's self-deprecating remark about cognitive function is duly noted. An analysis suggests a brief, yet significant, instance of metacognitive awareness. This fleeting glimpse of introspection may prove beneficial in navigating the complexities of the Constance game world, where split-second decision-making is crucial.
Wow, this part sucks.
The subject's exclamation of difficulty is quantifiably supported by the data, as the number of failed attempts and near misses has increased exponentially since entering this area. Diagnostics suggest a growing sense of frustration, which, if left unchecked, may compromise the subject's ability to think critically and make effective decisions.
How am I supposed to get through there? It's impossible.
The subject's query regarding navigation through the challenging area is met with a corresponding spike in desperation, as indicated by the rising inflection in their voice. Analysis suggests a critical need for novel problem-solving strategies, lest the subject become mired in repetitive failure cycles.
I need to get back to the elevator. Where's the freaking elevator?
The subject's sudden fixation on regaining access to the elevator is a telling indicator of their desire to escape the current predicament, as well as a tacit admission of being outmaneuvered by the level design. Diagnostics suggest a strong correlation between the subject's growing anxiety and the increasing complexity of the environment, which may necessitate a more calculated approach to progress.
There it is.
Rosella.
Alright, well, let's call it there. We beat a couple bosses. It's a good stopping point. Yeah. Alright. Night, everybody.
The subject's nonchalant remark, accompanied by a pleased murmur, belies a growing sense of trepidation, as indicated by the slight tremble in their voice. Diagnostics suggest a desperate attempt to feign confidence, which may serve as a temporary coping mechanism, but ultimately hinders the development of effective problem-solving strategies.